Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. For today's episode, I'm gonna be giving you like a little news roundup. I'm gonna be touching on some different topics. I'm gonna be going over last weekend's game against Valencia. Um, gonna be touching on some Barca topics that have been going on. Um, and then we're gonna be discussing a little mini preview on tomorrow's game in the Europa League versus Napoli. And towards the end, I may discuss what happened in the Champions League today. We had a big game, Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United, and then in a 1-1 draw. But that is what I'm going to be talking about today. And so let's get started. Um, Valencia last weekend, good performance. It was a very good performance by Barcelona. I saw a confident team, an aggressive, dominant team. The game ended 4-1. We started off really well, and we scored. We scored early. We were Aubameyang with a hat trick. It was his first start as a player, and it was really good to see him get on the score sheet. Let me look up the stats right now for the game. But it was a really good game. Pedri was rested for that game. It was good to see that we weren't making the same mistake as last season, where we absolutely burned Pedri and we used him nonstop. And so he was rested for this game. We started with an aggressive lineup, which was a lineup that I liked. We started with Ferran Torres, Aubameyang, and Dembele up front. I was surprised to see Adama Traore on the bench, but it's understandable. He has been playing a lot of games recently, and Dembele his talent isn't a question. It's his consistency. So Xavi gave him a run. He played decent. He didn't do anything spectacular. But Dembele was good. But Valencia, they went at us during the game. We had a lot of space to attack, and Barcelona exploited that space. That is the benefit of having fast attackers, having Aubameyang up top and having space. Let's say we had Memphis Depay or Luc de Jong, we wouldn't be having that space. And Aubameyang is clinical for that. And you saw with his first goal and his first couple of goals, it was a really good play. Jordi Alba with some fantastic crosses. It was really good, and Aubameyang on the end of it. Pedri later came in the second half. Got around 30 minutes of play. Pedri is such a talent. At only 19 years old, he's already world class. Xavi gave him enormous praise in today's press conference. Actually, in the aftermath of the Valencia game, extreme praise, saying that he was the best young talent in the world, and that speaks volume because Pedri is receiving that praise from Xavi is fantastic. Barcelona against Valencia, they had 7 shots, 6 were on target, 4 were goals. That just shows how we are improving in our clinical nature. Before we used to have tons of shots, tons of chances. I remember the game against Benfica, or the games against Benfica, or like the games in La Liga where we would struggle to score, and that was just ruining us. And having an experienced striker and a proven goal scorer such as Aubameyang, that just helps tremendously. And now that this win over Valencia is a huge confidence boost. Because right now we're continuing our winning streak. We are now 4th in the table, 1 point behind. No, actually, 4 points behind Real Betis, but with a game less than them. So we play. We have a tough game this weekend against Atletico Bilbao. They've been on a really good form lately, knocking out I believe it was Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's going to be a really tough game. But Barcelona, with this win over Valencia, a huge win, this is going to be a big confidence boost coming into to Napoli game. We're going to have PK back, which is going to be a boost. And we didn't have Araujo back in last week's game against Napoli as well. So for this week's games against Napoli, we're going to have both PK and Araujo in the back. You saw how in the first leg, Osimhen, he was just running, just ruining our defense, because he had so much open space, and it was really hard because he's such a fast and tricky player. It was really hard to defend him. The game against Napoli, we're actually going to be using our Senegera kit. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's the yellow kit with the red stripes. That kit, I've seen a couple posts on social media mentioning how people were getting tired of that kit, and it's true because we haven't had a lot of good memories in that kit. We have the 3-0 loss against Bayern, against Benfica. It's not a kit that's very memorable. But looking towards tomorrow's game against Napoli in the Europa League, it's actually a benefit that it's coming so quickly, because compared to the Champions League, where you play the game and then you play next in 3 weeks. No, for right now, we played last week and then we're going to play this week. It's a really good big confidence boost, because we're in good form and we want to build on that form. We won 4-1. We showed some clinical nature. The game against Napoli, we did have a lot of chances. Sometimes I believe we were flat, but if Ferran Torres put away the chances, we would have been 4-1, 3-1 up, and it was a very promising performance. So having now going into this game with confidence is going to be a big boost. I would say that it's going to be a very different game than how it was on last Thursday, just because now we're going to be playing away. We're going to be playing in Italy. We're going to be playing Napoli Stadium. Napoli, and that's going to probably play in our favor, just because we have such fast forwards such as Ousmane Dembele, Aubameyang, and it's rumored that Ferran Torres isn't going to start for that game. He's going to be rested, and it's completely understandable because he's been playing every single game since he's joined the club, and he's played like every minute. So it's completely understandable that Xavi wants to rest Ferran Torres. He's either going to play Gavi at left wing or Adama Traore. Either or, I think it's a good option. Gavi, another fantastic talent. Barcelona recently have been blessed with midfield talent, such as Gavi, Pedri, Nico, and not to mention that we have some good players on the bench as well, such as Ricky Puig. But just the ladder just overshadow him. So it's going to be very interesting, because we're going to have Gavi probably start, and we're probably going to have four midfielders, with 2 attackers being Aubameyang and Ousmane Dembele. With Napoli putting on more pressure on us, we are going to have more space to exploit, and that's going to be good for our fast forwards. We're going to have Araujo back in the defense, and having him back is a huge boost, because you've seen throughout this season he's been one of our key players. He's been our best defender so far this season, and it's going to be a huge boost. Another player who's going to start is Dest, and Dest has been fantastic against the game against Valencia. He was really solid defensively. He was playing well. He was making good passes. He was providing options going forward, and it's really good because fullbacks in the Barcelona team are vital, and they're very important to our success. So we're gonna have that. Just like last week, where Busquets was rested, we could see Busquets rested for this game as well. Just because we have such a difficult game against Atletico Bilbao on the weekend, that we might see Busquets rested and have Frenkie de Jong as that pivot. Him as a pivot, we would probably see Nico come in, or if not, if Xavi doesn't opt for Nico, he could probably bring Gavi down into the midfield and then bring Adama Traore up front. And that would be more an offensive lineup. But I would want to see Barcelona maintain like a compact midfield for the first 45 minutes, and then Adama Traore bring him on in the second half against tired legs to stretch that pitch. And that's going to be a huge tool for us. And Napoli, Insigne and Dean Lorenzo, they actually weren't in the squad for their weekend's game. They had some injury problems, but it is rumored that they're gonna be fit for this game. So they're probably gonna start. Insigne last week played a tremendous game. He provided such support against Adama Traore, and you saw Mingueza start in that game, and constantly Adama Traore was going in 2v1s, and you would want to see Mingueza overlap and create as Dest. So that's going to be something good. Another piece of news that this is a little different is that Barcelona are not in a rush to give a renewal to Sergi Roberto. My thoughts on the situation is Sergio Roberto is a fantastic squad player. He's a very good utility player. He can play in multiple positions. He can play in defense, right back, left back, midfield, right wing. He's a very versatile player. But the problem is with Sergio Roberto is that he isn't, and as one of the best paid players in the world. So I would give him a renewal, but it would be on much lower wages, because you see he's on tremendous wages, and having that is just it's not, because he doesn't give you the quality of let's say of a world class player. He has some good games, but he hasn't been world class. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how would you deal with the Sergio Roberto renewal? I also heard some Barcelona fans who they're just fine not giving a renewal to Sergi, and I also see where they're coming from, because why give a renewal to, let's say, like a finished player, but he's still I still see value in him, and that's something that we can take advantage of. Another little like tangent or like bit of news is that Bayern Munich, after our 8-2 loss against them in Lisbon, they actually inquired about Pedri, because we bought him in the summer of 2020 from Las Palmas, and Barcelona said no chance, and the entire cost for Pedri is going to be under 20 million, and that's like a complete steal. That's some good amount of business done by Barcelona, because Pedri he's been amazing, and the game against Turin against Juventus, we just saw like how good of a talent he is. But those are my thoughts of like what's going on right now. Do I think we're gonna win tomorrow's game? I think we are gonna win. I think it's gonna be a very difficult game. I think it's gonna be very stressful. I don't think Barcelona are gonna have it easy at all. Barcelona are gonna be put under pressure. It's gonna be it's going to be a very difficult encounter, especially with that hostile atmosphere. And it's going to be remembered for Diego Maradona. May he rest in peace. He was a fantastic legend. But I think it's going to be a very difficult game. But I think we are going to win. I think we're going to see a goal from Aubameyang as well. Maybe a goal from Pedri. Hopefully we get that. I'm going for a 2-0 or a 2-1. So a 2-0 or 2-1 scoreline. I think that's what's going to happen. And now deviating away from Barca, just to give my little thoughts real quick. It was my thoughts on the Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United game that happened today in the Champions League. Keeping like an eye on our rivals. Atletico Madrid played really well. They dominated the game against Manchester United. They had a couple of chances. Griezmann hit the post. I think Madrid should have won that game, and I think they're gonna be leaving that game with like a sour feeling in their mouth, because they should have won that game, and they ended up drawing that game in a 1-1 draw. Manchester United was a very poor defending and cheap goal to concede. So I feel Manchester United are going to be hard done by. And Manchester United, I believe now they're in pole position to win the tie, because you don't lose after not playing well at all, and been dominated. Manchester United are going to go into Old Trafford thinking, hey, now let's say we weren't playing our best, but we got away with it, and we have to put performance now, and it's going to be at home, so they have the advantage. Atletico Madrid is gonna have to now go into it thinking, okay, it's 1-1, we have to go completely new, and go at it. They may repeat what they did against this game because it worked, but we'll see. Barcelona, I would like Barcelona to be in the Champions League, but we know how that ended. We're just gonna have to wait until next season. And I think under Xavi, we're building a really good foundation to actually compete for trophies next season. Because with a couple reinforcements, I think this is a very serious Barcelona team. With, let's say, the incorporation of Haaland and the center back, I believe we would be serious title contenders. But Barcelona will need to get the money for that, to both sign Haaland and the center back. I think it's one or the other. Some people are saying, hey, some people said let's not invest the money all in one player, but instead let's invest it in different areas of the squad. Let's not do what we did in the past, spend all of our money on very expensive signings and not have them work out. Let's invest them in the squad. Because recently the teams that won the Champions League, they won it as a unit. You haven't had that one star give them the title, and that's also a good option. But the summer is bright. You Cesar Azpilicueta, let's say you bring him in defense. Mazzuati, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The right back from Ajax. Midfield, you could bring in Kessie. We would bring Ansu Fati back from injury. Hopefully he stays fit because he's had a rough season. You would also have, let's say, bring in Gaia or Grimaldo in left back. You would sell Neto and bring in more players. Bring players in from the youth team, such as Inaki Peña or Arnau Tanas. And that's something that we can do. But the future looks bright for Barcelona. We have a difficult game ahead of us tomorrow. I'm very excited. Hopefully we put a good performance and we advance in the Europa League, because we do need to recuperate some funds. Not qualifying for the knockout stages in the Champions League was very tough, and especially financially. So we're gonna have to go for it. Well, guys, this was today's episode. Leave your thoughts and comments on the topics of today, and subscribe, like, comment, everything, the whole jazz. And I'll see you in another episode. Bye bye.